Picture this. You're out on a hike, miles from anyone. It's quiet, and then you hear it. A twig snaps. You turn, and there it is. A wild animal staring right at you. In that one moment, your instincts just take over. But what if your instincts are dead wrong? What you choose to do in the next few seconds could mean the difference between life and death. So let's make sure you know exactly what to do.
Take a good look at this number, 100,000. That's how many people die every single year from attacks by just one kind of animal. And no, it's not sharks, it's not lions, it's not what you see in the movies. This number points to a much more common and way more deadly threat that's probably hiding in plain sight.
And this chart, well, it lays out the shocking truth. Our biggest fears, they're often completely misplaced. We're terrified of sharks, right? But they're responsible for only about 6 deaths a year worldwide. Even massive elephants cause around 500. But snakes, they are in a league of their own, causing a staggering 100,000 deaths every year. It's clear our fears are dangerously out of sync with reality. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start with the real numbers behind the danger. Then, we're going to bust some common myths that could literally get you killed. From there, we'll dive into how to face down apex predators, survive encounters with giants, and even handle some threats you wouldn't expect. And it all leads to the single most important survival tool you'll ever have.
All right, first up, myths that can get you killed. Because in a life-or-death moment, what you think you know can be the most dangerous thing in the world.
So let's just ask the question head-on. What's that piece of advice you've heard your whole life that is in fact a total death trap? The answer might really surprise you.
Oh yeah, this is a classic. You've seen it in 100 movies. Someone gets bitten by a snake, and the hero rushes in to suck out the venom. Please, whatever you do, do not do this. The right move is to stay calm. That slows down how fast the venom spreads. Wash the bite, keep it below your heart, and call for help right away. Sucking the venom doesn't work, and you could end up poisoning yourself and making the wound way worse.
And here's another famous one. You get stung by a jellyfish, so you pee on it? Nope, that is a total urban legend, and it's terrible advice. The fresh water in urine can actually make the stingers release more venom. What you actually need to do is rinse the area with salt water. Salt water deactivates the stingers. Then you can carefully pick out any tentacles that are left. We all have that image in our heads, right? The matador waving a bright red cape. But guess what? Bulls are actually colorblind. They couldn't care less about the color red. What they're reacting to, what makes them charge, is the movement of the cape. So if a bull is coming at you, your first instinct should be to stand still. If you have to, throw something like your jacket away from you to create a distraction.
Okay, now we're moving on to the apex predators, lions, sharks, and crocodiles. When you're dealing with these guys, the rules change completely. Your response has to be spot on and full of confidence.
If you come face to face with a lion, your one and only goal is intimidation. You can't outrun it, so you have to convince it that you are not prey. You're a threat. You stare it right in the eye. Never turn your back. Make yourself look huge by raising your arms, opening up your jacket. Yell at it in a loud, firm voice. This is the opposite of how prey acts, and it just might confuse the lion enough to make it decide you're not worth the trouble.
Now, when we talk about alligators and crocodiles, we're talking about an animal that has one of the most powerful bites on Earth. Seriously, once those jaws lock down, it's pretty much over. So how you react before that bite happens is everything, and it all depends on where you are.
And check this out. The strategy here is completely opposite depending on the situation. If you see a croc on land, they're at a disadvantage. You make a ton of noise and you run. And not just run in a zigzag. It's really hard for their bodies to make those sharp turns. But in the water, where they have all the power, you go completely silent. No splashing, no yelling. You just swim away as quietly as you possibly can to avoid triggering that attack instinct. Let's get a few things straight about sharks. Most species really don't want to eat us, but they are unbelievable predators. If you see one, the absolute worst thing you can do is start thrashing around in a panic. You'll just look like an injured seal, which is basically ringing the dinner bell. You have to move slowly, deliberately. Now, if an attack is actually happening, you fight back. And forget that myth about punching the nose. You go for the eyes and the gills. Those are its most sensitive, vulnerable spots.
All right, let's shift gears and talk about the giants. These animals are incredibly strong, and attacks often happen because we humans just don't understand their behavior or we simply get too close.
Okay, this is probably the most counterintuitive advice you'll ever hear. And this is specifically for a grizzly bear. A bear can hit 30 miles per hour. You're not outrunning it. Your only chance is to show it you're not a threat. You drop to the ground, curl into a ball, and use your hands to protect the back of your neck. And then you play dead. Even if it starts to bat you around, stay still. They often hang around to watch, so do not get up until you're 100% certain it's long gone.
Elephants are incredibly smart animals, but they are also fiercely protective, especially a mother with her calf. You have to learn to read their body language. If its trunk is curled up and its ears are pulled back flat against its head, that is a massive warning sign. It's about to charge. Don't even try to run in a straight line. Your only goal is to put something solid, like a giant rock or a big, sturdy tree, between you and that elephant.
So these two animals are way faster than they look. A rhino can be set off pretty easily, but its big weakness is its terrible eyesight. You can use that against it. Just ducking behind a tree or into some thick bushes is often enough for it to lose track of you. Hippos, though, they're just flat out aggressive and territorial. Your only move is to get somewhere they can't. Climb a tree, scramble up a steep hill, get on top of a big boulder, and just wait for it to move on.
Okay, let's talk about a few animals you might not immediately see as a threat, but believe me, in the right situation, an encounter can get very serious very fast.
When it comes to a gorilla, your strategy is the exact opposite of what you do with a lion. You have to show complete submission, make yourself small, sit down, speak in a whisper. And this is critical. Avoid direct eye contact. To them, that's a challenge. Gorillas have a very strict social order, and they typically will not attack something that they see as weak and no threat at all. If one does charge, you just curl up into a ball.
All right, this next one shows just how specific and honestly weird some of this survival knowledge can be. To calm down a kangaroo that feels threatened, you should cough. I know, it sounds crazy, but a short, quiet cough sounds like a sick animal, which tells the kangaroo you're not a threat. Then you can back away slowly. Now for bees, it's all about color and light. They're drawn to dark colors because they associate them with predators like bears. So if a swarm is after you, don't jump in water, run. Find shelter somewhere dark. The darkness will confuse them and help you get away.
So after all that, after facing down predators and giants and even swarms of bees, what's the one thing that ties every single one of these scenarios together?
Look, it's not about being stronger or faster than the animal, and it's definitely not about being more aggressive. The simple truth is this. Your ultimate survival tool is knowledge. Knowing what to do, and maybe more importantly, what not to do, is what will get you home in one piece.
So now you have the facts. You know the myths to avoid, and you've got the rules for survival. But the last question is the only one that really matters, and only you can answer it. When your heart is pounding and every instinct is screaming at you to do the wrong thing, will you remember